and I'm going to keep it on. But the first thing I want to share with people, we're going to cover about 4 different topics. One is we did a survey last week on our meeting location. I want to share some quick results on that. Mike Dillis is going to talk about our fellowship clubs. Tara is going to talk about membership and marketing. And then I'm going to follow that up with talking about just service projects in general. And so kind of you guys can help me give a little better feel of where we're going to go for my president year coming up. So with that, let me start sharing some results. It takes an extra second here, as I recall from last week. Meeting results, please come on up. The editing screen. Okay. So, Tara, maybe you can help me from this. I was trying to run the slideshow.
I can run it for you. You want me to yeah, that's what we're doing.
I don't know why it's not showing up. I know there's always a delay a little bit, but that's not the problem.
It's weird because it's showing this one.
Yeah.
Where's your Zoom? Can you just did you hit new share?
Yeah.
So hit unshare. Find that black. Oh, yeah. So hit.
Maybe just because I grabbed the one.
Email.
Yeah, should I just go to this one?
Try that one. And then we'll try to start. It's working on the screen. Sorry. Yeah, it's working on the screen too, so just use the down arrow.
There we go. Okay. Yay. All right. Good. All right. So here are just the overall results as far as what people's preferences are. It's a pretty even split. I mean, everybody, between people wanting to attend in person versus the preference of having the hybrid. Well, there's only a couple people who said that they just prefer to attend only by Zoom. So I think what this tells us is that the hybrid meetings are here to stay. And I think that's, I think we're just going to continue to be able to offer that because there are people who were in Florida for 4 months, who and then there are people who are visiting for multiple weeks and golfing with those people in Florida. So, so anyhow, and I'm talking about Lynn Kinney. No, I'm just kidding. Lynn's down there too, but so I think it's going to be important that we just continue to do that. And thankfully here at Madison College, we have technology. It isn't always the smoothest, and I am not the best at running this, but I will be better by the time it comes to my presidency. Take a second to come up here. No, it's not going higher.
More cowbell. More cowbell.
I'm trying to move to the next slide here, and I am not.
Use the down arrow.
I am not getting.
What about page down?
I tried that.
Here, I'm going to ask for control.
Okay.
At least you said. I have a feeling Roger
Okay. Oh, you're just advancing. All right, that's fine. So the next one is just as far as if you do not attend all meetings in person, what are the barriers for attending? So a number of people said that I'm just used to attending Zoom now. I was away from Madison. There's a number of people with that. Some people said that they're out of the routine. They just don't have the routine of going to meetings regularly. And then some people said just it's a pain in the neck to RSVP. So, five people said it though. So I will tell you, if you didn't RSVP, how many people did not RSVP this week that came? We probably got 5 or 6 people in the room who did not RSVP, who just came anyhow. And they brought their own lunch, or downstairs, there's a cafe that has, refreshment. You can buy sandwiches, salads, drinks, coffee. Isn't there a Starbucks bar down there? Yeah, Starbucks bar. So you can grab a lot of different things there. So I'd encourage you if that's a barrier.
I just ate some of Penelope's chicken.
There we go. Travel time sometimes was a consideration. People are in the habit of not traveling, and so it takes time to travel, come here. So we'll pull all these together and we'll try to see what we can do to kind of help rectify some of those. But it is a concern. So for some of those people. Next one is if you have attended in person, how do you rate the following? So the different things as far as the meeting location seems very positive. Parking seems to work out pretty well right now. I think there's plenty ample parking. Food selections, people are a little bit, here or there on that. I think we can we do a little bit more feedback on that. I want to figure out what we can do to improve that a little bit. Meeting room, similar. We're kind of cramped in here, and one of the things I've addressed with Madison College, or I'm trying to address, is can we get a bigger room? So we're working on that one. Let's go to the next slide. Yes.
When you talk to them, that room appears to be vacant because that's where we got some extra chairs, so they could theoretically just open this wall.
That's what I asked them to do. I emailed them last Friday to see if they would be willing to do that. Somebody's trying to get in. I asked about that because there's dual. One of the options is there's dual meeting controls, so the screen will have 2 screens. So it would be really ideal if we could do that. I just need to get them to get back to us and see if we can do that. So. And then as far as if you attend primarily by Zoom, tell us how your experience was. The first bars, it didn't come across easily when I copied and pasted here, but the first one is breakout rooms at the beginning of the meeting work well to connect you with other Rotarians. So that one was fairly positive. The amount of time was right, seemed to be fairly on the positive side. I feel connected was the next set of bars, which is where the high red one is. So it is difficult from Zoom to feel connected to people in the room, and I'm not sure what we can do about that. If anybody has ideas about how to do that with a Zoom group with people in a room, I'd be open to those ideas. And then as far as the presentations seem to be pretty easy to follow. So anyhow, next slide, Karen. So Mike's going to talk about fellowships. While he's talking about that, I'll say is if anybody has any additional ideas, send them to Aaron or I or Tara on the meeting here, because we'll keep on working on how to improve that. But so far so good, I think, here at Madison College. Mike,
thanks, Dan. So Tara, you're going to run the slides for me, okay? And since I can't see myself in this camera, hopefully you're not looking up my nose, you can see me okay. I can go up or down. Should I smile? Be more approachable. All right. All right, there we go. All right. So coming off of COVID, and as Dan's preparing to get going on his year as president, he and I sat down and talked about a couple things. One of the things he asked about was fellowship groups, and just as a little reminder, is how did they start, and would I mind stepping in and giving my hand on this, maybe just kind of getting the fellowships back up to speed and so forth. I said, sure, be more than happy to do that. And actually, I had the opportunity to present to one of the other clubs in our district about fellowship groups overall. I've shortened this down a little bit because I think a lot of people here already know about what fellowship groups are. But the number one thing that back in 2018, we did a survey. And in 2018, one of the number one reasons why people in our Rotary club said that they stay in Rotary is because of the camaraderie. Much like we're experiencing the fun and the giggles here today, people said that's really why I like to be a Rotarian at Madison South Rotary. And so coming off of that, I had the opportunity to be exposed to the Madison Downtown Club, which is a huge club, but they have a highly organized fellowship group. They have, I mean, I don't even know how many groups they have, maybe 15 or 20. So took that idea as an inspiration and then right-sized it for our club. And that's how we got going back in 2018 with fellowship groups. So pretty simply, what are fellowship groups? I just picked out a couple of key words there. Basically, having a common interest and enhancing your experience in Rotary while having fun. It really does help, I think, to cement our relationships amongst each other if we can not only have the fun and the giggles here in this meeting, but if we can also get after it, if you will, with a fellowship group that we're possibly just enjoying our interest and passion together, or we might be doing something that for the good of mankind, doing something as a service project as a fellowship group. If you could go to the next slide for me, Tara. Okay, so just some basic benefits of fellowship. Certainly enriching the Rotary experience. Dan talked earlier about making these meetings more engaging. Well, fellowship groups are one way that we can make our experiences as Rotarians more engaging. Also, because I'm going to speak in a minute here about fellowships at the international level, there's certainly an opportunity to get a better understanding of the world. And then also, this will segue a little bit into what Dan's talking about later. It's about new opportunities for service. So you can go to the next slide. So those that aren't familiar is that there's actually a long list of international fellowship groups. This is just a partial listing. And I wanted to call attention to just 2 or 3 of them here. Canoeing, for example, is a international fellowship group. I know one of their service projects they do is they regionally get together. They use their canoes, they go out and they clean up rivers and lakes. So it's a good use of their passion as well as doing something good for mankind. The Computer Users International Fellowship Group apparently has put on training sessions for fellow Rotarians in the past. Maybe we'll have to tap them and see if they have some more suggestions about hybrid meetings, and use that as an opportunity. I'm going to speak a little bit about the Cycling to Serve Fellowship because some people might have noticed I kind of like to cycle quite a bit. And I got exposure to the International Cycling Fellowship probably now about 3 years ago. And so just to kind of relate to you how an international fellowship group works, it's really pretty cool because I get a monthly email newsletter from the group about what's going on in the world. There's a lot of conversations about what are some of the different cycling events around the world that occur. There's also a international Rotary cycling race they have every year over in Germany. It's been wiped out the last couple of years because of COVID. But it also gives me a point of contact. In the United States, Leanne and I were traveling out to Colorado a couple of years ago, and I reached out to the Cycling Fellowship group, said, hey, I'm bringing my bike with me. I sent it to a group of people, said, I'm bringing a bike with me. Does anybody get any ideas for a couple of safe routes that I could go out on? And so I got a great reply from multiple people. And then I also asked them what time their clubs met. And we actually did attend a club meeting down in a little town. So it was really, I guess I'm saying it's a good case study for some of the benefits of an international cycling or international fellowship group of any kind. If you go to the next slide. Yeah.
What, can you go back to that slide a second?
You can talk about the mustache one?
No. What is bathhouse and is it connected to European philosophy?
That I would have to look it up. You can also have Argentinian culture. So I'm not sure, Joe, but hey, if you get a new hot tub, you know, you could,
I don't think that's really what that is.
it could be hot tub fellowship with Joel, just saying, it's potential. Jackie's got a question or a comment? Oh. Well, all right, so this is how fellowship groups work. Somebody's got a passion. Right, so it's already building fellowship. All right. Wow. Right. So for those, again, that are not aware, there's over 80 Rotary fellowships at the international level. And if you chose to get involved and create an 81st one, I would tell you that it's a little bit arduous to get through the Rotary International process to get it a certified and sanctioned. So I'm sure the bathhouse has been well vetted. So it passes the 4-way test and everything else, I'm sure. But if you were looking to just kind of get a better sense of all the different ones that are there, certainly just go to myrotary.org and put into fellowships, okay? So now bringing it closer to home, our Madison South Fellowship Group, currently at the moment, you can see, I think there's, well, I can't count, but there's like 8 or 9 or something like that on there. So the book club, the Rob Goose Book Club, bowling, and craft beer was just an example the other night, last Tuesday. Jay organized a outing to the Youngblood Brewery and Tap House, so we had a great time over there. Cycling, because it's going to be a little chilly tomorrow, we're going to postpone that to another time. And you can see there's some other opportunities up there. Dinner with Friends was one that was rolling along pretty good until COVID took us out. But there are people that either are saying they will be the champion of it again, or there's maybe a couple of openings. I'm not quite positive at the moment. But without talking about every single one of them in the interest of time here, I would just say what else is out there? You know, we have potential for the hot tub version. I did send out because of the Youngblood conversation at the Tap House the other night, we started talking about chainsaws and testosterone. And so I'm thinking about a chainsaw and testosterone fellowship group. You bring your chainsaw, we go cut wood, and then we'll hook up with the craft beer group. So Jackie's got a question.
I don't have a question, I'm just saying that you guys don't really know what we do with the Royal Embroidery.
We don't want to know. What happens at the Royal Embroidery Society stays at the Royal Embroidery Society.
All of our members come, but especially females.
That's why.
We do allow male here and there.
That's why we're doing chainsaws.
We go to use a needle and thread. No. Just check it. You're afraid someone's gonna put on a certain belt for that. Some of the people might not know that, because I was like, the work and then, oh, okay. All right.
John, you got a question? You have so John's already catching on to this chainsaw group, so we'll bring our chainsaws and come help you out with any trees you need, assuming they're already on the ground. No, all right. Anyways, just in closing, I just wanted to get the word out there that the fellowship group is a great way to get to know each other better, be creative with the ways that we can network before, during, or after a Rotary meeting, and I guess to stay tuned. Leanne.
Question for you.
Yes.
If somebody has a great idea about a fellowship, who do they go to talk about getting organized?
To get it sanctioned within our club? I would say between Dan and I, if you just drop us a note, say you're interested in it, and we'll go from there. So part of what we want to do is just to, again, just kind of restart, hit the refresh button, let's get them going again. And let's see if there's some other ones that maybe we want to add into the group, or maybe some of these have run their course and they want to be taken off the list. But it's completely flexible, and it's up to the creative people in our club to make it happen. So that's what I got.
And are there people that are the chair of these already, or are you looking for chairs?
We will clarify that to the group to let them know who is currently saying that they will be the leader of those groups. We'll get back to you on that because we're still in the process.
So like your life is a lot like mine, where your wife just takes control.
Right.
Without even asking permission or even really letting you know what's going on.
I did make eye contact with her, so I knew that she was. I could tell the look, you know. Right. We had this rehearsed. Jackie,
I
question?
just can't say enough about the international group of Rotary Friendship.
Mhm.
The Gooses and I have been very involved, and Kevin and I, very involved with that, and it's just been absolutely tremendous. We've had the Argentines
Mhm.
here, we've had, the Swedes, of course, and Swedes will be going back hopefully this year, this week.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. So if anybody really wants to travel, that is truly the way to travel.
Mhm.
Because you really live with these folks and get to know the customs and families and become lifelong friendships.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I mentioned earlier, I made a presentation. It was actually at the Fitchburg Corona Horizons Club. Spoke to them about fellowship groups, and actually 2 people in that club are members of the International Curling Club. So they were actually heading overseas later that week to get into the curling. So again, check it out at that international level. Maybe there's something there for you. So, okay, thanks.
Probably need to put this down a bit. All right, so I was asked to talk a little bit about membership, and I am the current membership chair, and I'm the current marketing chair of a committee of 1. So I'm really looking to potentially inspire some people who might be in the audience to join either of those committees, because Jackie and I are the only ones on the membership committee right now. Besides Erin West, but I don't know that she counts because she's pretty much on every committee. Okay, so the marketing committee right now, what I've been doing is updating our website regularly with news, membership, like events, things like that. Primarily, I'm doing most everything out on Facebook, but we do also have a LinkedIn page that I try to post photos out. I create events for things like the beer fellowship, any other like event specific things. We put that out on Facebook just to show that our club is active and that we're together again and that we're, doing things. I also do all of the Facebook ads for our brat stands. Those are targeted ads to the universities that are coming to Madison to try to get them excited and coming to our brat stand. And then also at the event, I do photography and we do live Facebook feeds at the event as well. So if that interests anybody and they'd love to help me out with that, the more people we can have as admins on our Facebook page, the better. So membership committee, we basically support the board of directors' efforts to increase membership, and also as some of the things we've done in the past, like the Halloween goodie bags, were an effort to reach out to members just to let them know that we care about them, and in the pandemic that was going on. Last year, I sent out that little seed mailing for everybody just to let them know I was thinking about them. We prepare the new member packets for everyone that includes all of our board information or all our information on the fellowship groups and committees and things like that. We schedule and run fireside chats, and Jackie and I have just been playing a bit of phone tag on that to get that scheduled. But a fireside chat is for all new members and existing members that want to come and get a refresher on basically everything about Madison South Rotary. We have speakers from the different areas, talk about the foundation, the board, our service opportunities that we have, and in a really like comfortable wine and cheese kind of setting at someone's home. So the next one's going to be at Jackie's place. We just have to nail a date down. So new members, I'll be sending out a doodle poll. And new members, that also includes people like Lynn Perez Hewitt, and there was someone else who joined either during the pandemic or shortly there before. Oh, Joe DeLugo and Lori. Yeah, so we'll send out a doodle poll to try to find a date that will work best for all of you guys, that we can get that pulled together. So if anyone has interested in being on our membership committee, the time commitment on that is we meet once every other month for about an hour. And we can do that via Zoom, or we did it in person prior to COVID, but it's really just another opportunity to help brainstorm ways we can reach new members and grow our club. So, yeah.
I'll volunteer.
You want to be a membership?
Yes.
Awesome.
Um,
Randy, you too? All right, great.
no,
Too late. Okay. What do you want to say, Randy? Joe's got a comment.
I just wanted to say that I just think that what Dan presented to lead us off today and certainly about being here at Madison College, I really think that coming into Dan's year, we've got a really opportune moment to really look at ourselves and figure out where we want to be as a club, 5+ years out. And that is all about membership.
Yeah.
We need to do a really thorough look at ourselves and what kind of club we've been, which is great, and we have all the giggles and everything like that, but we've got a lot of senior actors in this club. And we need to figure out, you know, where we're at, how many senior actors can we, you know, we get older and move into that category, but we need a base of the 40-year-olds, people like Zach, Max, and others, you know, to get them in here, to get to know us, and hopefully they'll be here 20, 30 years like a lot of us. So
Mhm.
I think this is the year to do it, especially now that we got a good home here at Madison College.
Yeah, sure. Randy? 40 and under category number one, one person. Randy, what were you gonna say?
First of all, I think you do a great job of keeping the website updated. It's amazing how many Rotary clubs, you go to their website and there hasn't been an entry in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And you know that prospective members are checking that stuff out. And if I was thinking about joining a club and I went to the website and there was no entry for the past 3 years, I kind of go, what's going on there?
Yeah.
So thanks for that. I think that is really important. But the other thing, just because we have a membership committee, that doesn't mean that those are the only people responsible for membership.
Yeah.
The typical Rotary club, and this has been true historically for Madison South, the typical Rotary Club, Service Club will lose 10% of its members every year through death, relocation, or dissent. So what that means is that if we as Madison South want to maintain ourselves as a club of 70 members, we've got to bring in 7 new members every year. And it was tough to do during COVID. So as Joe was saying, you know, we've really got to take advantage of the momentum of getting back together again. But it's everybody's responsibility in the club to bring in new members, you know, not just Harris, not just people on the stage.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, maintaining the website is really, it's not difficult, but it is very cumbersome. Club Runner is not a website editor in any means. So I've made do with the tools that are there, but it's not as easy as some of the other platforms that I work with. So if you guys ever see anything on there that you're like, oh, that's outdated, just email me and I'll get it updated as soon as I can. Paula?
I'll be on the screen.
Okay.
You can take my place.
Already resigning, Randy. Yeah, I would second the sentiments. Everybody in this room is on the membership committee. Everybody. Except for Penelope, who's just joining us as a guest. But so if you have, yeah. So Lori?
I'm interested in being in the membership committee. I know I'm newer, but I just want to say, you know, in retirement, as I go to groups, for example, Optimist is growing smaller and smaller. I've been a part of churches growing up that are smaller and smaller and disappeared. And I'm interested in coming and bringing some new ideas that I see outside of here that I think might expand us, but I don't want to sound like a new know-it-all. So I'm willing to come.
No, I think it's good that we have, yeah, more seasoned members and newer members. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
One thought on the same thing is, and I'm willing to be on the committee to work on this, is now that we're here in South Madison,
Yeah.
where there's a lot happening,
Mhm.
we can create a very different club. We can be also, not that we're exclusive, because we're not as people, but it's pretty well.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have an opportunity to really make some impact in this community and bringing other people into our group that haven't traditionally been part of it. So
Amen.
I'm excited about that.
Great. Any more questions? That's it.
Tara, if you could advance for me, yeah, right there, that's good. Yeah, go to the one for Paul Harris. So next thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is service. And that is something that we have done some things over the years, but first of all, just a quote from Paul Harris: Rotarians are very much more favorably disposed toward action than they are towards words. So we've, as Madison South over the years, have done a number of service projects. Tara, why don't you go to the next one? over the years. We've done the St. Mary's Bingo Party. We've done, you know, the staffing water stations, whether it's the ones that Tara's talking about. I think we've done some crazy legs over the years. Picking up trash, the Triangle Ministry used to serve a meal down there. We're looking to get back to do that. We did some harvesting of prairie seeds last fall. We've done served meals up at Ryla. We're going to do that again in May, but we've done that a number of years. And so there's many, many more. So the question, what I've got is a list of questions is what's the future for us for service projects? You know, we do the brat stand as a fundraiser. And a number of people have made this comment in past surveys that the brat stand is a fundraiser. It's not a service project. Some people would say it is a service project because it's raising money we're giving money to people, but you know, it takes up a lot of our resources to do the brat stand. And so what I want to hear from a lot of people is answering some questions. You know, as far as what kind of service projects do we want to be doing in the future? You know, what does that look like? So I don't know. I guess I want to throw that out to the club, and I want to hear from you. You know, what kind of service projects would you like to see us do in the future? Laurie.
I see amazing speakers that you and others bring in. And I think that taking on one or two of those a year might be, for me, like a fellowship group. For example, I would really like, I just came from spending time at one city moving stuff so that construction workers can do their work. Things like that are maybe it's a fellowship group of volunteering events during a year, and that, you know, there's a list of them. The Nehemiah Project sends out that kind of thing. We need lists and helps of this. Maybe we can do that as a club, that it's with a particular school or a different school or projects that are going on. That's one thing that I personally enjoy myself. If Joe Ballas puts out an email and says, this one time today, we're going to go put flower bulbs in hospice. Then I put it on my calendar, go, I can do that, you know. So I guess things like that. I know we try to do that, but I'm not very good at finding it.
Okay. Good. Joe.
I was want to piggyback on what Brady said. I think too, connecting back to our speakers, just think about Kelly Hoople being here last week from the General House. You know, she ends inviting us all over to have dinner with them. I mean, it just takes somebody to connect, facilitate, and make that happen for us. But there's a lot of opportunities with the speakers we have here every week, and through a lot of them that we fund through our broadcast.
Yeah, that's something that you could actually, when you're soliciting speakers, is just say, you know, end the program by letting us know how we can help you.
Yep, I've asked that in fact on a lot of the different speakers, the ones that especially what we funded in the past, and you know, as to what we can do from a project perspective. So I think that last week when for the Ronald McDonald House, she did come up with, I asked that, and she came up with a list of things that we could do. I mean, she brought that up as part of her presentation. The question is do we just listen to that presentation and then we forget about it? And, or do we have somebody as a fulcrum to follow up on that, a system to follow up on that, so that we do actually, somebody says, hey, let's grab 4 people and let's go over and make a meal over at the, you know, Ronald McDonald House or something like that. AJ.
I don't know how many people remember a couple of years ago, we used to do a special fifth Monday meeting in our club. And those four times a year when there's 5 Mondays. We always did those as like touring a facility or learning about a nonprofit. We went to Access Health, learn recycling and military, stuff like that. But that might be an interesting use for what you've got up there on your last line of picking a place and doing service on that day for an hour.
Yep, that's a great idea.
And I think that would have to be probably later in the afternoon versus doing that, you know.
Yep. Yeah, to make.
Opportunity to do hot tub of beer.
Right.
Or embroider, or whatever.
That could also be used strategically for what Ellen talked about, to try and average more direct connections to the South Madison community.
A recruiting tool.
No, I wasn't gonna say that, because then that's using it.
That sounds too.
It's self-interested, but I think it's a real, and get to know people, and I think indirectly, there's potential to recruit, but there's steps before you recruit people. Most people get to know all.
And who's
Yeah.
in charge of the service? Who's the person in charge of the service?
Well, that's a great question. So Paula Pacine is our chair for service for all the different service projects. So she is going to be one of the, she's agreed to be that focal person. She has agreed. Paula Pacine. So Paula has agreed to be the person who will be the focal point for service projects. So that doesn't mean that Paula is going to organize all of them. That means that Paula will be the person that will get the list together. And that means that there'll be other people who will, like yourself, who wanted to do the triangle ministry. And she'll just know that that's send you a reminder or if you're just so we have a list. If somebody asks, if there's projects coming up, Paul is going to be that main person just to accumulate that and organize it and help us maybe do something with that. So we haven't figured that all out yet. Tara?
Lynn Pressfield online said that now that the club is in a college, could there be potential mentorship programs?
Great, yeah.
Do they want mentors in college?
Well,
They better, so.
yeah. So one of the, and an upcoming slide, one of the things that, as far as examples, it's one of the things I would like, as we are here at Madison College, is there a project we could do with Madison College? So, and one thought I had, which was maybe something in the fall, would be, could we set our Bratstand trailer up here and do a welcome back to the students and serve brats and sodas or something, or invite people from the community, potential members, people who worked on Park Street here, not State Street, Park Street, and or other people in the neighborhood, to invite them to come and have some social, it'd take a little bit of work, some people putting together, it'd probably be a noon type thing, I don't know. But I think it would be an interesting concept, just, use our Bratstand trailers, just. So the question is, the other question I have is frequency. How often would we want to do this? I mean, right now, they're kind of in free, some of the St. Mary's we hadn't been able to do for the last couple of years, but I mean, they're a little bit infrequent here or there, and people want to organize them. Is having one a month too many?
I'm interested in hearing about more of them, because I think that would be a way for me to be new, to meet more members. I'm willing to go try something one time that I don't know about, to meet new members, and then decide if I want to go back.
Okay.
Dan, we
Yeah.
could have also as a program for one of our weekly meetings. We would have breakout sessions into different service areas, like
True.
community service. I don't know if anybody remembers some of the others.
The 7 areas of focus.
Could be.
Yeah.
So maybe we could organize a program like that where people
Yep.
can learn about what the service project is and decide if they want to be involved.
Yep, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Tara, could you we're going to run out of time, or we're kind of out of time, but why don't you advance next slide? Go ahead. Yes.
Rotary Youth Exchange. I don't know if we'll ever see it again, but it's something we should keep in the back of our mind.
It is starting to come back. There's going to be a summer program this year, but then there are some schools that are bringing students back for this next school year, but Madison schools are not allowing them in yet. So we are hopeful that it's coming back. So yes, I think you're right. We could probably do a survey. Yep. Well, maybe that's as a future point, since we're kind of running low on time here. Maybe we'll do is put together a future survey, and maybe Paula, you can help me work that out and figure out what we want to, so different ideas that we can.
This was long overdue there.
Yeah. So the other thing so there's different areas of focus. Mike had mentioned that maybe that's a good break if we have breakouts, tables or something like that, or topics, because these are the different areas of focus. And I think we should kind of think along the lines, are we covering these things? And, maybe we don't cover all 7. Maybe there's 4 or 5 of them that we want to have a focus on. Maybe part of it is maybe also from, we could hear from the foundation when they do their presentation to us and give all their awards out, that they could tell us maybe how they covered that, those different things. But from a club service perspective, how are we covering them? So the last thing I just want to cover is there's a lot of projects we've talked about that are maybe projects outside of the meetings, but there are some things we could probably do from an in-meeting. Maybe Tara, if there's one, I think you could just, in the next slide. These are just different ideas that, thrown out is, we could do something where we could meet as part of our meeting that day. We could put together some packages or something like that, or, to be dropped off at a homeless shelter or a food pantry. We could do, different things, or just writing cards or something like that. The St. Mary's folks that we see maybe once a year, maybe we could write cards to them, some other time of year. Things that we could maybe do, is when we're busier in the fall with the broad stand, everybody's doing a lot on their Saturdays and stuff. Maybe we could do an in-meeting kind of a thing that doesn't take as much time away, so people feel like they're participating. So with that, I think there's a bunch of other ideas I got on the slides. Maybe we'll just table for, for a survey. There's a lot of different ideas. Rob Goose wanted to make note that he wants to get a group of people to go out to 3 gates and do a project for a couple hours. So, there's all kinds of ideas. Paul's had us go out we've done a Habitat for Humanity in a couple of summers ago. We did that. We should get back and do that and find. So there's endless ideas for people who want to take an afternoon off and do it, to do it in a meeting, to do it in an evening. I think we need to come up with a variety of different things so that we are known as a club of service, not just a club that does the broad stand. So with that, yes, Tara?
I was going to say, and those kinds of things are what I, as a marketing and membership committee, will do to show that we are active, engaged, and community-driven club. With only having the broad stand only 2 months out of the year, the rest of the year we look dormant unless we do these kinds of work. So
It's really, this is real fellowship. When we're working together, that's.
Well, and it allows people who can't get back to meetings, who just can't get to, whether they don't want to be online. It gives them another opportunity to be connected to the club. There's some Rotary clubs. I think our district governor, they meet twice a month, right? Their club, they meet once in person and once as a service project. That's it. That's how they get together. So fellowship groups, service projects, meetings, they're all different. You can meet different ways. So we may not have the one perfect way of where we're all meeting in person like we used to. It may be just a variety of different ways. So anyhow.
Can we just share it to all of us? Yeah, we can have it.
Oh yeah, I can send this out. Yeah, I was brainstorming.
Wow.
Some of it I also got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do everything up there.
Yeah. Well, some of these groups, like Catholic Multicultural Center, is going to be here. So there's different things that I'm thinking ahead of that stuff.
So when does bathing with ballast?
Fifth month.
I appreciate everybody's thoughts and comments today. We will share a lot of this information. Thank you.
Great
All
job.
right. Sure.